Hello, hola, welcome. Guys, this is like actually three, take three or four of what was supposed to be a live video last night. Okay? I am fit to be tied over here. So I was finally in the middle of, I had just gotten all warmed up and whatnot, and I was in the middle of getting going really well. And then, like, Zoom cut out on me because right now I'm using Zoom to record. Don't ask, it's a long story. But anyway, take three. Okay, here we go again on why your manifestations ain't working. I don't have a script. The bullet points were lost. Yeah, it's been a whole thing. I don't know what it is about this particular video, but like these weapons are prospering just a little bit, okay? Anyway, I'm Athena, your modern day priestess bestie, and I've spent the last 15 years studying various forms of energy work such as metaphysics, shamanism, angelolatry, Reiki, hoodoo, and more. And now I'm sharing all of those learnings with you so that you can get unstuck, get started, and live the life that you want on your terms. So let's just go ahead and get right into this. Hopefully I can pick back up from where we not from where we left off, but hopefully I can kind of just like find my flow again. Today's topic that was supposed to be last night's topic is about why your manifestations ain't working. And there could be many reasons why your manifestations aren't working, but there's usually something there's one big one that kind of applies to just about everybody, myself included. And it's not something that you really realize until you sit and you think about it. So, what I like to say is this is project management for your magic, okay? Because in a different timeline, I worked in corporate, I was a project manager. And when I decided, and this is all very recent, by the way, okay? This wasn't like, oh, I figured this out a couple of years ago. No, like we talking real time. I learned some stuff. I tell you guys. Sometimes I've learned stuff, way back when, and I'm telling you guys. But sometimes I learn stuff, and then I'm just letting you know. Like, hey, come here, friend. Let me tell you what I figured out. So this is one of those times. Let me tell you what I figured out. So you have to use what you're already good at and apply that to your energy work, to your magic, right? There's going to be certain things that you gravitate to a little bit quicker in your energy work, in your magic, than you would in other areas. You may be able to read tarot very well, but you may be horrible at astral projecting. Okay, so just use the skill set that you've already built up and apply that to your magic, and it's going to make things a lot more comfortable for you, which will give you that confidence so that you'll be able to just keep trying different things. Okay. So yeah, so the example that we were using is I had a class, and this lady came to the class, and she hadn't been to the class before. She was uh, a new, she's new. She's new in town. No, but she was new. She hadn't been to the group before. So we're sitting around and we're talking. And that particular day, we were doing some candle magic. We were doing some candle magic that day, in addition to our lecture. And so, because for those of you who don't know, I like to mix the two. So I like to mix your evidence-based practices with the metaphysical and kind of blend them, because everything works together. So when we meet her, she's telling us that she was applying for a job. Now, I'm not sure about how the job market is in your area, but for white collar professional workers, especially those who are not fresh out of college, the job market is a little bit tighter for those employees than it is for someone who is fresh out of college, trying to enter corporate or white collar professional. So she was like, she was going to use the law of, she said she was manifesting her job. So she had did all the things. She visualized, and she did the very important things first. She actually applied for the job, right? So many times we'll want to manifest something, but we don't take any steps here in the mundane world to be like, okay, I'm going to put this first step forward. I'm going to move forward. I have faith that this is going to work out. So many times we just say, oh, I'm manifesting this, but we're not doing anything. We're waiting. And that's not manifesting, that's waiting. So, good job to her. She did great. She applied for the job, and um she had all the qualifications, certifications, degrees, everything that she needed for the job. So she actually gets a call back, and she goes on an interview. So yay! So everything is great. So she goes on this interview, and she says that she thinks she did fairly well. So now she is manifesting, and her manifestation was to get the job. That was her manifestation. She wanted to get the job. So in the meantime, she visualizes the she's living in the end state. She's visualizing. She packed a box of all the things that she wanted to take with her on her first day of work, so she could lay her desk out the way she wanted. So her first day of work box was already packed, and she had her outfit already picked out for what she was going to wear on her first day of work. Like, she was ready to go. She had everything lined up. She was aligning to her wanted destiny, to her desired reality. She was aligning herself as much as she could to her desired reality. Unfortunately, she didn't get the position. And we all know, how frustrating that is when, especially when you're job hunting and you've been job hunting for a while, when you don't get the position, especially when you've gotten to the interview part. So that makes it just like a little bit like, ugh. So the the thing with the law of attraction community is that at this point, they would have blamed her, and they would have said, well, your vibrations weren't high enough. Your frequency wasn't right. It would have been something that she did, right? And that's really toxic. Think about it. You're supposed to be this group of high vibe, positivity people, and you're over here blaming people when their desires don't pan out. How much confidence do you think that's going to give them to want to try again? So, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be self aware and take accountability. I talk about being self aware all the time. Absolutely, you should be self aware. Absolutely, you should be retracing your steps and figuring out what it is that you can do better, or what worked and what you should keep doing. But it's interesting something really interesting to say that the law of attraction failed, your manifestation failed because you weren't in the right vibration. When it comes to the law of attraction, what you're doing is you are actually using all of your own energy sources. It took me a while to figure that out. But there's if you just follow strictly law of attraction manifestation, it is all you. Some of us, I mean, not some of us, all of us, when we come here, we all come with different amounts of energy until we happen up on our spiritual enlightenment, our spiritual path, and then we can increase the energy that we were sent here with, right? But we're not all sent here with the same amount of energy. Some of us are sent here with a 5-gallon water jug of energy, and some of us are sent here with a Duracell battery's worth of energy. And that's when you're doing the law of attraction. If you've been sent here with a Duracell battery worth of energy and you're just starting on your path, that's all the energy that you have to power that manifestation. So you might be in the right vibration as much as you possibly can be with your AA battery. Not saying that she had a AA battery. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just using this like in general. So do not conflate the two. So yeah, that might be all you have. Meanwhile, you've got someone else who comes here with, a big old 5-gallon water jug of water. They've got that much energy, and of course things are easier for them. Of course they're going to say, "Oh, well, you weren't in the right vibration. Oh, well, just look what I did." Well, you started out with more, and since you've discovered your path, you're gaining more and you're replenishing it quicker. So when you start at a smaller level of energy, you use it up quick and it takes you longer to recharge it so that you can reuse it. Okay? Um so that's why like I don't know. I kind of think law of attraction is more of an advanced technique. Even though they put it out there like everyone can do it, everyone can, but there's so many behind the scene things that needs to happen in order for that to come about, and it's not fair to try to make people think that it's something that they're doing wrong specifically. I don't know. But anyway, back to project managing your magic. So, yeah, she didn't get the job. So, we need to look at this because I'm sure we've all been in a position where there was a job we wanted or whatnot, and we didn't get it. So let's look at this. Let's break this down and figure out how we could increase our odds of making this particular manifestation come to fruition. When Let's go back to the what I was saying about we all come with a set amount of energy, right? I want you to choose your manifestations carefully. Choose the things that are really important to you because it's going to take work. And this is what they don't talk about. Okay? Her manifestation was to get the job. So let's backtrack. When you're doing this, you need to break it down into smaller tasks. And, we've all heard, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you plan a project? One task, one milestone, one goal, one milestone at a time. So, in getting the job, the very first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you have the right qualifications. So, let's just skip that part and say that you have the right qualifications and education and certifications and experience that you need for the job in the industry that you're applying for. If you don't, then that's going to be an additional step for you because now you need to do a little bit of energy work on jumping industries, right? And let me back up a minute. So I had notes. Well, I didn't have notes. I had like bullet points last night, and those got wiped. So I don't even have the bullet points anymore. The only thing that was saved was like the title. So let me back up for just a minute. Before you do any energy work at all for the job, the very first thing that you need to do is divination. You need to make sure that this job that you're going for is going to be in your best interest. Is it physically, mentally, and spiritually a good fit for you? Because why go through all this work if that job isn't right for you? It might look good on paper. It might look good and you're like, "Oh man, this is, they've got the benefits I want. It's close to the house, etc., etc." But you might get there and there might be something that you weren't able to vet ahead of time, which would make it a horrible fit for you. So, first, we need to do some divination. We need to use our intuition. We need to tap in to our spirit team and we need to find out if we should even be going for this. Now, let's say we got the green light and this is something that we need to go for. Cool. The very next thing that we need to do, like I said, when we're talking about the job, the whole job thing, is make sure you've got all your qualifications and your certificates, blah, blah, blah. Cool. We got all that. So you're good to go there. The very next piece of energy work that you need to be doing is you need to do a little bit of work to have the jobs that are going to be for your best interest. You need to have those drawn to you so that when you're looking through the job ads, the ones that are for you are going to light up and jump off the page. So that should be your very first, second, or third piece of work, is to have the positions that are going to be in your best interest, that you are drawn to those, that those are drawn to you, that you see those, so that you're not wasting your time applying to positions where you think that it looks good, but really it's not going to pan out for you in the long run. Okay? So that's going to help you cut out wasting your time on what you're applying for. Okay. So, let's see here. You've done that. Okay. So, yeah, okay. So, you applied, okay? You found a position, you applied, and the very next piece of energy work or magic that you need to be doing after you apply is you need to be doing some work to make sure that your resume stands out, because you want to make sure that you get past the filters, you get past all the gatekeeping in order to get to where you need to be, in order for somebody to be like, okay, we like this. Let's shortlist this one. So that's your next piece of energy work, is to make sure that your resume stands out. While you're waiting on that, there's some inner work that you need to do. So you need to, of course, you're going to research the company, blase, blase, blase. Okay. But you need to do some work on yourself. You want to make sure that you come across as charismatic, as confident, as competent, as knowledgeable. If you're someone who usually goes into places and you're kind of an asshole, you might want to do some work where you're more affable. Okay. If you're someone who has anxiety and you get tripped up in social situations like that, then you're going to want to do some work that makes you appear bigger than what you are, right? You want to come across in your interactions with this company as the person that they're looking for. And since you don't know exactly personality wise what it is they're looking for, you're going to have to use your intuition and intuit what's best, but work on those weak areas and do some inner alchemy on those and do some energy work around that, so that when you get the phone call, you get the email that there's a date set up for you, that you're ready on the inside and your personality is ready. You're ready to go. And you might be thinking, oh, well, I interview well, or, blah, blah, blah. But you might interview well, but you don't know what that person is looking for. So, say, for example, you decide to go in and you're wearing I don't know, maybe you're wearing a purple suit. And maybe the person who's interviewing you hates purple. Well, if you were listening to your intuition, if you were doing some inner work, some energy work around you to make sure that you appear the way they needed you to appear, you would have came in maybe a more conservative color. That purple suit might be your power suit. That might be your lucky suit. But for that person who's interviewing you, they just might not like that color. And then that's it for you. Right? There's no rhyme or reason to the way that humans do what they do, especially when it comes to hiring, okay? So you want to make sure that you're giving yourself the best chance. All right. So, you're doing your inner energy work. You get the phone call. Awesome sauce. You're ready to go. Did we skip anything? I hope we didn't skip anything, y'all. But you're ready to go. You show up to the interview. And you want to make sure that before you show up to the interview, you want to do a little bit of work to make sure that you appear as the brightest person there, as bright as in the brightest star, the most memorable person. You want your star to shine brighter than everyone else that they're interviewing. And you want to be memorable. So you need to do a little bit of energy work around that before you go into your interview. You get into your interview, and because you've done all of this other energy work and this other inner alchemy work, the interview goes swimmingly. So you leave the interview, you send a thank you note, of course. And while you're waiting, you want to continue the energy work that you're doing to make sure that somehow, just you're the name who keeps coming up top. Not saying that you're doing work to dull anybody else's chances, but you're worried about yourself. So you want to make sure that you're the one who has the lasting impression, because you did that when you came in to make sure that you were the center of attention, that you shone the brightest. And then once you left, you want to make sure that you're the one whose name keeps coming up. You're the resume who keeps showing up. You're the one who they keep talking about in a positive manner, because they can see how you would be a good fit, right? So you've done all that, and yeah, now that you've done all that, you need to make sure your gratitude, right? And everyone says gratitude, 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 and it's like, yeah, I'm thankful, I'm thankful, I'm thankful, but really just appreciate being able to get that far through the process. And now is the point where you want to say, your manifestation is, I want this job. So you've done all of that other little work leading up to this. And the big desired goal is that you want this job. So now you can go ahead and you can start doing, I'll say scripting. Scripting is my favorite manifestation technique. It works for me more often than not. So, you'll do your scripting while you're waiting to hear your call back. And they call you back, you get the job, Bob's your uncle. But that is how you project manage your magic. You look at each task. So remember, I said that there's one thing that usually trips people up from getting their manifestations, or maybe I didn't say it in this video, maybe I said it in the other video. I don't remember, because we're on video like 3 or 4. But anyway, yes, there's one thing that people usually do, that most people do, that trips them up from getting their manifestation. And the thing is that they go for the big goal at the end. When you go for the big goal at the end, not saying that infinite intelligence can't make that happen, but you have to remember that magic always takes the path of least resistance. So think about how many moving parts we just broke that whole task down, or that whole desire of getting a job. We just broke that all the way down. Think about how many moving parts there are all along the way in order for you to get what you want. That's a lot of people shuffling. That's a lot of timeline shifting. That's a lot going on to get you your desired reality. This is why you have to start with each individual task. It could be that you might even have to start smaller than that. You might have to start with manifesting the right, you might need to manifest a new suit so that you can manifest your way into a networking event where you know that these people hang out. So when you're thinking about your goal, your end result, I need you to think about the very, very first tiniest step and write everything down. And then look at all the things that you already can do yourself on the physical side and the things that you know that you need help with. That's what you use your energy on. That's what you use your manifestations on. That's where you use your influence magic. Okay. So I hope that you found this helpful. I hope I said everything that needed to be said on this. I don't want you guys to get discouraged because there's so many steps, but I do just want you to use that as a way of thinking like, okay, I need to really think about what it is I want so that I'm not just having several manifestations going. Because if it's something you want, it's worth your time and it's worth putting in all of that energy in order to get it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have wanted it. And if you don't want to put in all of that work to get it, that's fine. But you have to know yourself enough to know that, you know what? I'm not really feeling that. I ain't doing all that work. And that's fine. And then you dream a different dream. There's nothing wrong with changing your mind. Okay? But yes, project manage your magic. And going for the very end result is probably why your manifestations ain't working the way that you would like them to or as frequently as you would like them to. So when you start doing it this way, you'll start noticing that you have more success. So start with something small where you only need to change just something tiny. Start there. And then you can work your way up to some of the other desired outcomes that you've been pondering over. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate this. Thank you for bearing with me. I didn't have any notes, I didn't have any bullet points. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time. And until we meet again, peace between us.